Ever feel like you're just stuck, kind of running on a hamster wheel of anxiety or depression and you just can't get off? Okay, let's really get into this. Because what if I told you there's a way to actually rewire your brain's response to those feelings, and it only takes about 90 seconds? So first, let's talk about that exact feeling, the one we all know, the feeling of being completely and utterly stuck. I mean, for real, have you ever had that experience where it feels like no matter what you try, you just keep ending up in the exact same emotional spot? It's like a loop you just can't break. So this observation comes from Justine Lette, the expert whose work we're digging into today. She kept seeing people trapped in this cycle, and it got her wondering, why do some people move forward while others just stay stuck? And here's the thing, it's not because people aren't trying, right? People do everything they're supposed to do. They go to therapy for years, they try medication, they change their diet, they do the whole 9 yards. But for so many, these really intense physical feelings, they just don't go away. Okay, so what if we've been looking at this all wrong? The source material we're looking at suggests we might actually be fighting the wrong battle, calling something by the wrong name.
And this is the big idea. That huge, overwhelming feeling of anxiety, that sudden wave of sadness that comes out of nowhere, it might not be a real emotion that belongs in the present moment. A lot of the time, it's just a trigger, an old memory that's firing off by mistake. Okay, let's really break this down because this difference is everything. An emotion, that's a direct response to something happening right now. Your boss yells at you, you feel angry. Makes perfect sense. But a trigger feels totally out of place. Someone gives you a weird look and suddenly your heart is pounding out of your chest. The feeling is way, way bigger than the actual event.
So this is absolutely key. A trigger isn't a thought, it's a physical sensation. It's that tightness in your chest, that pit in your stomach, that racing heart. And it just shows up without a clear reason in the here and now. It's basically a memory that's speaking through your body. So what's actually happening inside your brain and your body when one of these triggers goes off? Well, it turns out it's this incredibly fast process where a part of your past literally grabs the steering wheel.
Is this a wild chain reaction, right? Something you see or hear or smell activates an old memory deep in your brainstem. That's the most primitive, feeling part of your brain. For just a second, your logical, thinking brain goes completely offline. And in its place, a younger version of you steps up to handle what it thinks is a threat, and it kicks off some old protective habit.
And this is where it gets really fascinating. The source material tells this incredible story about a woman in her 70s. She was looking for help with weight loss because of this bizarre thing she did every single night after her husband passed away. So it turns out the feeling of being alone in the house at night was causing this specific feeling in her heart, and that sensation was directly linked to this unprocessed memory from when she was just 4 years old, hiding under the covers with biscuits while her parents were fighting. So the 4-year-old part of her was literally taking over to keep her safe, even though she was now 70 and hiding from absolutely no one.
Okay, but this is where it gets really, really good. This is the empowering part. That moment when a trigger fires isn't just a problem to be dealt with. It's actually a golden opportunity to make a permanent change. Get this, according to the source, when one of those old memories gets triggered, your brain opens up this tiny window of opportunity. It lasts for about 90 seconds, where that memory can be changed. It's a process called memory reconsolidation.
And the technique is actually super simple. It's just 3 steps. 1, the second you feel that trigger, that physical feeling, you just notice where it is. Is it in your chest, your stomach? 2, in your mind's eye, you literally pull it out. Give it a shape, a color, whatever, and then just watch it disappear. And 3, this is the most important part. You immediately replace it. You flood your mind with a really powerful, positive feeling, like looking at the face of your child or someone you just absolutely adore. And here's the kicker. If you do this in that little 90-second window, something amazing happens in your brain. The memory gets refiled. It moves out of that primitive feeling part of the brain and gets stored properly as just a thing that happened in the past. So you're not just putting a Band-Aid on a symptom, you are fundamentally rewiring your brain. The trigger isn't just quieted down, it's gone. For good. Check out this example from the source. It's just amazing. A teenage girl falls off her horse, right? And she's totally frozen with fear, can't get back on. But instead of talking about the fear, Justine just asks her a simple question. When was the last time you laughed really hard? The girl thinks of a funny story, she starts cracking up, and in that instant, boom,
The fear is just gone. She hops back on the horse and nails the jump. It can be that fast.
So, once you start clearing out all this old stuff, what's next? Because getting rid of the past is an incredible, life-changing first step, but it's only half the journey. And this is a really, really important point. Using this technique to get rid of triggers, it doesn't just magically make you happy. What it does is it makes you neutral. It gives you a clean slate, free from all that old baggage that was weighing you down. So, think of it like a two-part roadmap to a really good life. Phase 1 is clearing the past, using this technique to get to that neutral, free state. And then phase 2 is when you actively start creating the future you actually want by deciding where to put your focus. This quote really nails the second half of the journey. It's not enough to just think about what you want. The source material is so clear on this. The real magic happens when you combine a clear picture of your goal with the powerful feeling of what it's going to be like when you get there. That combination is the signal that tells your brain and your body what new reality to build. Which really, it all comes down to this one big, powerful question for you. Once you're no longer being yanked around by these misfired memories from your past, you're left with a clean slate and a choice. So what future will you choose to create?